Can somebody give me the play-by-play? What has actually happened? All I know is that I'm screaming. I'm filled with joy and happiness, and also I want to know what's actually going on.
Oh, you want facts?
As of 9 minutes ago, a tweet from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission says today the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national securities exchanges. The approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection. And there's a quote here with Gary Gensler's smiling face, and he says, today's approval enhances market transparency and provides investors with efficient access to digital asset investments within a regulated framework. Why, thank you, Gary.
He's not really smiling. Let's be completely candid here. It's not a very happy smile. It's hard to describe that expression as a smile.
Okay, I guess it's a forced camera smile. You need to smile, Gary.
Maybe that's the best shot they could get of him. That's his profile picture. But that's the facts as we know them. Is there? There's no link to any larger release. So we got to do some homework. Anyone who has any more facts, for sure, though, let us know.
Man, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Now, at the same time, I guess another fact is the price of Bitcoin spiked up to almost, to almost 48, like 47.9, and then quickly spiked back down to as low as 45.5, and is now recovering and is in the 46.1 range. So you can expect there to be a lot of volatility as the market starts to digest this information. But it's actually a little bit of a sale versus where it's been all day. So for those people who aren't buying ETFs and are buying real Bitcoin, now might be a decent time to buy some, just in case it catches on.
Alec, you have any thoughts here?
Don't buy the ETF, but is this kind of like everybody's been saying that it's a sell the news event? I don't know if this is what they're talking about, just that quick up and down motion, but I don't know. I'm expecting a lot of upward price movement. Curious what the thoughts are. I think you guys covered that a bit this morning on Cafe.
Indeed, we did. This is uncharted territory. Anything anyone might say at this point is pure speculation. We are literally at the outer edges of mankind's experience, exploring a brave new world right now.
You know what question I had? I think I know the answer, but I don't 100%. It's like, has there ever been an asset that's had this many financial companies vie for creating an ETF of it? Like this is just there's so many companies chasing this prize.
When the gold ETF was approved, there was only one applicant.
Yeah. So like this is so different.
Yeah, there were others that came afterwards. I think people were trying to figure out what the heck it was going to do, and they proved at one point. I don't know if it's still true, but the gold ETF was the largest ETF in the world, and I think that was around $65 billion in assets. So very fascinating. I think everybody's very excited to see what this means. Is this good or bad? Either way, I guess if it's bad in terms of price, that's when the Bitcoiners will do their thing, as we always do. And I mean, if it's good, I guess people get to both rejoice and cry at the same time. I don't know. Matt Snow, good morning, or I should say, good afternoon.
GA.
Now,
Good afternoon, Alex.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing as good as one can do right now. It's a little bittersweet. I think price is probably going to rise faster than I'd like it to. The more you learn, the more you wish price would stay low so you can buy more. But At the end of the day, we need to liberate this planet from the shackles of central banking and the absolute insanity that we're living under. So, I don't know, send it.
Send it. Shout outs to Brecky, Brandon Quittem in the audience. We did have Stephen Lupka in here a little while ago, and also Guy Gomez. If any of you guys want to come up, happy to have you on here. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a recap for those people who are wondering what is going on. The ETF, apparently, according to a tweet by the SEC, the ETFs for Bitcoin have just been approved. What the landscape is sort of looking at right now is that there are essentially 10 new players in the space. By the space, I mean financial institutions that have requested to launch these Bitcoin ETFs. And I think what we're looking at here, and this has sort of been the initial stages of what we witnessed occurring with all these updates to their S1s, updates to their prospectuses, is before these things even got launched, there has been a land grab war, so to speak, where they're adjusting their fees in order to probably gain more market share. I think several people have said that there will end up being one or two leaders in the space, maybe three, I don't know, not too many, but whoever gets the lion's share will create a compounding effect, so to speak, where they will just get more and more as their AUM grows. They'll become more recognized. They'll probably have more ad spend. But I think there's going to be quite a fight here over the next, I don't know, maybe even 12 months to a year. Or, I'm sorry, 12 months to 2 years to see who is going to capture the lion's share of the market here.
Yeah, we were supposed to go through a then they fight you stage, but it's like they're in a then they fight over you stage right now. So they're all want a piece of they all want the piece of Bitcoin. They all want to be associated with Bitcoin. Who would have predicted this a year ago?
I have thrown some invites out to Mark Moss, Sam Callahan. If you gentlemen would like to come up, you are welcome to do so. Understand that people can't always do that, but if you're available, happy to get your input here.
Whoever wins and gets the most AUM, would it make sense for them to jack up fees after the fact because people wouldn't want to sell and like realize cap gains?
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but Gensler just tweeted and said the SEC Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted. SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products.
Holy shit!
What?
No way!
Gaslight?
Curveball!
Rugged.
Rug pull?
Oh my gosh, is that real?
It looks real. It just says at Gary Gensler, which looks to be his real account. It has like the gray check.
Holy shit!
You can't make this up.
That's some legendary hacker.
That's
Holy
incredible.
shit.
I mean,
That is a legendary
CNBC is
hacker
already
right
like
there.
hitting us up asking for commentary, so everybody has been fooled. Not about that, about the fact that the ETFs quote unquote got approved, so everybody got rubbed.
Should have known by his smile that wasn't genuine. No. So now we're all left wondering which is the compromised account.
Okay, so here it is. Yep, I'm reading it right now. Gary Gensler with the check mark. The SEC Gov Twitter account was compromised. An unauthorized tweet was posted. We have not approved the listing.
Womp womp.
That's the ultimate hack. I just got back onto Twitter. I've been off for 5 months because my account got hacked, and I just got back in. And now it's happening to the SEC.
Wow, the conspiracy theories are going to fly.
Even the SEC doesn't use two-factor authentication. Who would have thought?
False alarm, false start. I guess we need a not pump it up song.
Play the song, but in reverse and really slowly. No, you know what's going to be crazy is like when this does go live tomorrow, nobody's going to believe it.
Yeah, who do you believe anymore? Right now, that's pretty wild. You would think though that it would be accompanied by a press release. No. Anyway, for those who are just catching up,
Do we get a preview of what's going to happen when it gets released? I mean, right now was it like a big ass like wick on that candle and it's like plunging? Is it like a sell the news event?
Well, I guess this is the question: how much of it was like if this was a compromise? If someone had compromised the account and they knew they could release this, maybe they were betting on the price going up by releasing it prematurely. Maybe they were selling a lot into the market. It's it's really really hard to know what the heck is going on right now. Um,
Oh, look at Tomer coming with the conspiracy, not just hacking the account, but trading at the
this
same
is
time. I
I'm
love it.
a long time Bitcoiner, right? This was always every time fake news came out, it was meant to uh, move the price.
I'm with
I'm
Tomer
not
on this
saying I
one.
know anything here. I'm just saying, take a look at what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. You've got Gary Gensler tweeting from his personal account saying that the SEC site is compromised. The price of Bitcoin's moving up and down by thousands of dollars in minutes. It's it's a crazy time.
it's the greatest show on
It
earth.
really is. It's quite something.
I mean, I would definitely start from the assumption that whoever did this was trading the news. That's what you're suggesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like I don't want to say foregone conclusion, but that is, as you said, a used to be a very common strategy.
Well, it was short lived. They got a spike up to 48 and they sold a bunch apparently, and now it is down to 45.8 and some change. So I don't know. Hope it was worth it.
Everyone in the news will have to say the word Bitcoin yet again.
Well,
Hey, Gary
it'll
was
definitely make big news. That's for sure. Everyone's going to be talking about every news channel will be talking about this.
Gary was on it though, man. Like I think it was only a 8-minute lag between the time that the SEC Twitter account posted that and when Gary retracted it or refuted it.
There's going to be so much noise. Like, who's still in charge of that SEC.gov account? Will they say, no, Gary's account has been compromised?
They probably have a staffer at the SEC right now. It's like, listen, buddy, your job is to watch Twitter and see everything that's tweeted from the SEC account and Gary's account all day, every day until we actually do the press release.
I still can't get over this.
Well, I was pretty excited for a minute. For those of you who are just catching up, there have been two events in rapid succession. One was a tweet from the SEC.gov account on Twitter that said, we have approved these things, greenlit, good to go. And then within, I think, something like 8 minutes later, Gary Gensler retweeted from his own account, nope, we got hacked. It's not real.
They should have been using Noster. Maybe that's the lesson here instead of Twitter or X. I'm reaching.
Okay, so Gary's account tweet has 1.7 million views. The original tweet from the SEC's got 4 million views. Well, whoever did it with the intention of maybe selling that news, they got a tiny little spike, but doesn't look like they're getting anything else.
Well, it's hard to know what their motivation would have necessarily been. They wanted to front run. I, you know, it's hard to know whether they were planning on whether they had bought a lot and were planning on selling some really quickly, because it did go up. It spiked up $1,000 instantly, and then it's hard to know what the timing. I don't have the exact timestamps, but then it went back down. And presumably that was associated with Gensler's update tweet, but I'm not sure of the timing of these things. Curious, um, and curious what impact it'll have on their planned announcements. Like if they were planning on announcing 24 hours from now, then will this change it?
Yeah, that's sort of what looks like. We've seen this kind of before, right? Where like it's like scheduled to be released, and then like an intern or somebody released it ahead of time. Maybe it was like in their account scheduled to go out tomorrow, and they put the wrong date in or something like that.
Well, exactly. This could have been an asset in their drafts. It's hard to know.
Well, whatever it is, anything we might say from here on out is pretty much speculation. And I personally have got a jet. So, P, I guess you're in charge if you guys want to keep the room open.
Oh man,
Well, P, hopefully we'll be back here tomorrow having this conversation for real.
absolutely. I'm assuming we are. This is the strangest timeline. My friends, thank you for joining us. I'm happy to keep the space open and continue talking about the ETF and what the implications are if other people are interested. Mark, it's been a while. I'm curious what your thoughts are overall.
I,
What my thoughts are overall? Did you throw it to me?
Yeah, just where you see this affecting, how you see this affecting adoption.
Well, I think there's the big thing that I see for adoption is when you look at any new technology, they have what's called the diffusion of innovation, which is like this bell curve, and we've all seen it, right? It's like the basically the creators of the new technology get you to about 5 to 7% adoption. Then you get the true believers that kind of come in behind that, get you to about 15% adoption, and then you have what's called the chasm. And the chasm is this gap that has to be crossed before the early majority comes in. And so the chasm is really where like a mindset has to shift, where something has to change to the mass market to where they're not so skeptical of it anymore, right? Where it becomes easy or whatever it is. And so I think there's been lots of things chipping away at the chasm, but I think the ETF would be the biggest piece for that of the chasm. And so, we still hear, all of us, I'm sure, hear all the time, oh, this internet money, I can't trust it, I can't hold it in my hand, all these crazy things. But I think having this ETF, I mean, having BlackRock, as much as I'm no fan of them, put their name on it, I think it just gives it that legitimacy, having the government approve it, et cetera. And so I think it really pushes the chasm. My hope and my belief is that it will really push towards a lot more private adoption. Um, I'm not a real big fan, a cheerleader of bringing Wall Street into this. I understand the pros and cons of it, and I get that like a lot of people weren't able to access it because money's in their 401k mutuals, et cetera, or big corporations or whatever, and so those people can get a little piece of it. But I almost like that they weren't able to do it through the machine. Nope. Pull your money out of BlackRock, manage your money on your own, then you can get it. And like we should be defunding BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, et cetera. And so it was, from sort of like a human flourishment freedom standpoint, I think it was better if we have to defund those people, they can't get into it. Now they're here. I think it crosses the chasm. I think all in all, it's probably a net good. It worries me though, bringing the cabal of Wall Street in, and we'll see how that plays out.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I agree about the technology adoption curve. It's I think it's going to bring a lot more people in. Well, Tomer, I'm curious if you have any additional thoughts before we close things out. How do you feel?
uh, well, I'm in a sense I'm relieved because you have these expectations, and my expectations were a lot of okay, this is going to happen tomorrow, probably around this time tomorrow. but ready for it anytime tomorrow. And so it was a real punch in the face to see this coming today. Now my head is filled with question marks around, well, what will they announce tomorrow? Does this event actually impact their announcement of things tomorrow? So chaos, mayhem. What you wouldn't expect anything else in this timeline that we're living in, as you say, and we just Bitcoin remains unaffected. I guess Bitcoin doesn't care that there was or wasn't an announcement uh, of Bitcoin ETFs, and whether it was true or not. Bitcoin's own truth continues to resonate, and we're all, and maybe that's the biggest lesson for us here. Here we are. As speaking as a Bitcoiner now, putting on that hat, it's like, well, this is what you get for listening to centralized government-run institutions that are unreliable and prone to human error and human corruption and all this kind of stuff. Pay attention to the truth. Pay attention to Bitcoin. So we all got the punch in the face we deserved for this one.
I know it really does feel like it's a lesson. All right, my friends. Well, if you don't already have your tickets for Pacific Bitcoin, I would definitely recommend getting those, pacificbitcoin.com. We have an incredible conference that we put on every year. And also, of course, Cafe Bitcoin will return tomorrow, and we'll be ready to give you all the news updates. We'll see you there.